Welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame from the home offices here in Edmonton, Alberta. I am Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Let's get right into it, Jim. The Edmonton Oilers came back from the All-Star game here this week with some healthy bodies for once, which was really nice. Everybody is available now that hasn't been for the past little while. You know, you've got your Eberle, your Horkoff, your Hemsky. Ryan Whitney's still out, but there's nothing we can really do about that.
No.
Because all of these players were well. First of all, let's talk about what do you think about the Oilers lineup the way that it looks right now.
Well, it's nice to get healthy bodies in where you can, and they really want in these last 30-odd games to as Tom Rennie said, cause a bit of trouble in the Western Conference. So without these guys, you're probably not going to be able to do that. So hopefully now they can maybe go on a push and end the season on a good note.
When your third line is Gagne, Omar, and Piarvi, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad at all. So I like to see that as well, But, because all these bodies were coming back, they did have to make some roster moves. And Zack Stortini, the Zack Attack, who's been with the Oilers basically for 4 years straight, got waived. Nobody picked him up and is now playing in the AHL. What did you think of that move, Jim?
Well, it's one of those tough moves you have to make. And GM Steve Tambellini mentioned that it's it's a hockey move. They had to make that move, and he's a good presence in the dressing room, on the ice too. He's a really hard player. He plays with a lot of heart, and I think some of his teammates were a little shocked maybe and kind of upset to see him go. But he's still with the team. He's down in the AHL, so that's the game.
Do you think he'll be back up? Do you think we're going to see him again?
It all depends on
injuries.
Yeah, injuries, and if how he's playing down there. Maybe he'll show something that warrants bringing him back up. But I'm sure it's not the end of Zack Stortini.
Oh, good. On Saturday night at UFC 126, Anderson Silva beat Vitor Belfort, and when I say beat, I mean beat. Yeah. An amazing first-round knockout. Silva aimed a front kick at Belfort's head, knocked him the heck out, Jim. So what did you think of the fight, first of all?
Boy, I mean, there was some talk that Silva, might be challenged by Belfort, and he's had a couple of fights where, well, his last fight, he was getting his butt handed to him until he managed to pull it out late. The fight before that, he was kind of toying with the guy, and so there was some questions about Silva, but what a kick.
Wow.
My goodness.
That was the end of him, man.
And gracious in defeat was Belfort. Sure. Afterwards he was thanking the fans and saying it was, Silva beat him.
Darn right, that's because he couldn't remember the fight.
Yeah. It's good to see that though, sometimes especially in the fight game, guys are a little less gracious than that. But what a kick. What an end to that fight. That was that Anderson Silva.
Oh, something else, eh? We're going to get to a little more Anderson Silva later on here in the lineup, but did you know who was in Silva's corner there, Jim?
No, I didn't.
Steven Seagal, sir. Steven Seagal in Silva's corner.
Did you know he's also been a cop for like 20 years?
That's right. Can you believe that? Steven Seagal did one of his first ever interviews talking about the UFC afterwards, and Jim Seagal was all over this, telling about how he taught Silva how to do that kick, and how he was real proud of Silva.
What'd you make of his wardrobe?
Well, I think it was something else. The guy had this backwards hat on and had the yellow glasses on and the leather jacket, even though you knew it was 100 degrees in there, and I don't know.
Just cool.
Just cool. Cool all the time.
It's funny that somebody would take the guy seriously.
Oh, totally.
He must know his stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it was absolutely taught him the front kick. Oh boy, real proud of him too. So it's official, Jim. Peter Forsberg is back in the NHL. Foppa signed a contract with the Colorado Avalanche here, and he will play hopefully sometime this week on their road trip. I've always liked Peter Forsberg, but I'm not a Detroit Red Wings fan. Jim, what do you think of both Peter Forsberg coming back and Peter Forsberg himself?
Well, in my old age, I've started to...
Yeah.
Well, I won't get into that. Yeah. Remember, I think last week I was 45?
Yeah, that's right.
Growing up, I didn't like Peter Forsberg much, but it wasn't, anything other than what an outstanding player he was. But now, in my old age, I like to see these types of stories where here he is, he hasn't been able to leave the game on his own terms, and I think more than anything that's what you want. So he's coming back. He's giving it another shot. I hope he comes in and makes an impact.
Yeah.
And because it would be a good story. And I do feel bad for him that the issues that he's had that have kept him out of hockey have been strange ones, like a weird foot problem that, you know, just it'd be good for him to come back, you know, have a good end to the season.
Yeah.
Maybe play some more, maybe not, but end on his own terms and you know, feel good about himself knowing that he got back to the top level. And
I got a buddy named Chris who has a Peter Forsberg bobblehead toy, and I'm not like a little toy, like a big one, like a statue. He's pumped that Peter Forsberg is coming back. Yeah, he can dust it off, and he can be all over this now. Myself, yeah, you're right about the foot and that kind of thing. It's just, you know, he's still got the hockey smarts, and if he's got anything like what he had for hands before, I mean, I'll welcome Peter Forsberg back with open arms.
I just hope that it's not Colorado, Detroit in the playoffs.
Oh, man. And then Forsberg scores.
He does something stupid.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go on to the GABBYs now. The GABBYs are the good and bad by you. We take stories from around the world of sport, and we split them up into the good and the bad. So if you have any stories that you think are good or bad, something that's a little funny, please email us or hit us up on Twitter. So starting this week, on the good side was big week for fights in the NHL. Brent Johnson, I love this one. Brent Johnson, the goaltender, one punches New York Islanders goaltender Rick DiPietro. DiPietro, Jim, now has broken bones in his face and hurt his knee and is out for 4 to 6 weeks. What do you think of Brent Johnson on this?
Oh, it's beautiful. You know, he gave up the shutout, right? Yeah. 17 seconds to go, and after the game he said, you know, I've always wanted to get into a fight. And I think a lot of goalies probably have always. I've talked to a couple of goalies this week, and they said, you know, I'd give up a shutout.
Absolutely.
To get in the fight. You know, shutouts come all the time, you know. But what a punch.
What a punch.
Afterwards, Rick DiPietro goes, oh, he's got long arms. You know?
Yeah, that's why. Still on that good side, I mean, there was another game later on. 3 fights in 4 seconds in the Stars-Bruin game. There were 2 goals right afterwards. Jim, old-time hockey.
Absolutely. Good fights, too. Good.
Yeah. Woo. I just love that. It was just so much fun to watch.
It's another example of the people want fighting out of the game. I couldn't watch that thing without being there. I wanted to hit something.
It was just great. I was really impressed. Yeah.
And still with the good side of things, this starts out bad, but trust me, it gets good. So still on the topic of fighting, there's been you know, we've been waiting for that Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight for what seems like years. If it's not testing, it's this. If it's not this, it's that. Yeah. So that one looks like it's not going to happen. Yeah, Fight fans were pumped for the longest time as a prospect. But the UFC has one that's maybe as good, if not better.
Absolutely.
We've been talking about Silva.
Yep.
Let's bring GSP in there.
Man.
Dana White says if both guys win their next fights, which Silva has done.
Silva won it, yeah.
GSP fights in April. If both guys win their next fights, they will more than likely square off. Oh,
I love it. I think it's going to be great. It's better than the Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, in my opinion. You know, Dana White quotes, he says, it's time to have that fight. I think it's absolutely great.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Absolutely. You know, I think GSP can go up in weight. I think that's not a problem. And to see 2 of the best fighters in the UFC go at it right now, I think it's just going to be out of this world. And I'm so impressed.
The thought of what that fight's going to look like. You know, the way GSP prepares for fights, you know, and then the way Silva is just an outstanding fighter himself. It'll be, you know, the chess match to end all chess matches. The most violent chess match on record.
Exactly. However. Yeah, you know it's going to go a couple of rounds, too, and you know it's going to be back and forth. Oh, it's just going to be great.
Or it might not.
Or it might not.
It might be one of these with a front kick.
Seagal front kick, you know?
I guess the question is, which movie martial artist can GSP get in his corner?
To combat the other movie martial artist, absolutely. Continuing on the good side...
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, you have to. If you're going to do it right. On the good side, KHL defenseman Denis Kuliash shatters the hardest shot record at 110.3 miles per hour. He blasts all the other all-star competition. Jim, do we need to have a slap shot off between Kuliash and Zdeno Chara, who just set a record in the NHL?
I think we do. You know, that's the only way to decide the outright champion. But is this just Russian propaganda?
I don't know, Jim. It might be. You know, it might be.
It's crazy. 110. That's fast.
That's crazy fast. That's you know. Yes, it's only 5 more miles an hour, but you know, in this time, you know, Chara only just beat his old record by 0.6 of a second. That's like,
yeah.
It's just amazing. That's like, you know, somebody doing NASCAR and beating the other guy by 5 seconds, you know?
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
That's quite the heavy shot.
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, if it's just a one-off thing, if they
I'd like to see him do it again.
Calibrated the measuring.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, anybody got film of that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, let's move to the bad side now, Geoff. Danny Paille, or Paille. I don't know what his name.
Whatever.
He's been suspended for 4 games for a hit in that Boston-Dallas game.
Yes.
Still on the topic of fighting a little bit. He came across and smoked Raymond Sawada of the Dallas Stars. He's kind of looking down. He lost the puck. Paille comes definite east to west and targets just the head. Yep. And I don't know. You're teammates with a guy like Marc Savard, whose season and career could be over.
Yeah.
You know, stemming back to a hit from Matt Cook that looked, I don't know, identical to this one in a lot of ways. And you know, you've seen what the effect of this type of hit can be, and you go out and do that. I mean, like, what do you think's going through his head?
Yeah, you had a good quote here, Jim. You've always said for a long time now that, you know, there's got to be responsibility on the hitter to not try and kill the other guy, and that's absolutely true. There's absolutely got to be the responsibility, and I think, and we were talking before, that this is a PA issue now. You know, Paille was obviously not in the right. Let me get that absolutely out there. Paille was not in the right. I am, though, still with some hockey purists and some people in the NHL world who, you know, aren't really liked at saying that I think Sawada should have had his head up a little bit more. I think that the head up that he should have had his head up and should have been aware of what was going on.
Okay, but we're okay. So he's skating, he skates across the blue line, and loses the puck. Should he keep his head up and go for a change? Should he give up on the play? Paille doesn't go for the puck.
No.
The puck's actually coming towards Paille as he makes his move, but he's already committed to blindside killing this kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a responsibility on the players to, you know, try and be aware of where they're at. I mean, there's 2 Boston Bruins around this guy. Yeah. He probably knows there's 2 Boston Bruins around him. He's probably not expecting Tarzan to come swinging off his line.
And it was east-west, yeah, you're right, absolutely.
But there's, you know, the NHL they can have meetings, they can bring in rules, they can make committees, do whatever, but none of that's going to mean anything until guys like Dan Paille don't make that hit.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to make that hit.
He doesn't, no, and it wasn't needed. And you're right, it wasn't needed.
He comes out of nowhere and just... If he went shoulder on shoulder even, it would have been, okay, well, he didn't see you coming, but at least you didn't hit him directly in the face.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, there's got to be a responsibility on both sides to avoid that.
Absolutely, absolutely there is. So, I mean, the PA, you got to do something. England man, so an England man changes his name from Sean McCormick, still this is on the bad side, to Fernand Torres McCormick back in December in honor of his favorite team's favorite player. Now Torres is playing for Chelsea after a record-breaking transfer last week. Jim, would you keep the name if you had changed your name like that?
Well, the guy's trying to figure out, do I become a Chelsea fan now? Do I keep he said the name Sean just never felt right.
Oh.
Yeah, so Fernando
Good
Torres is a better first name, yeah. Oh, I don't know. He better find a different player, I think.
Wow, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely. Because now he can't stick with this team anymore. What a strange world we live in.
All right, so Evgeni Malkin misses 5 games with a knee injury, comes back, hurts his knee again. MCL, ACL, done for the season. Yeah. Geoff, you know, can the Pittsburgh Penguins keep winning?
Well, I mean, they went something like 9-3-0, 9-3-0-1 or something like that without Sidney Crosby in the lineup. I think they can find ways to keep winning, but I mean, Evgeni Malkin is an amazing player, and it's going to be tough without him.
It's going to hurt them in the long run, I think, but they seem to be doing fine.
Absolutely. We're going to get to quick hits here. Spruce Girls' Jennifer Heil announces her retirement from freestyle skiing. Heil won a gold medal in her last ever World Cup here event just this last week. She's also got the first gold medal in Canada for Canada at the 2006 Winter Olympics. She's just a great all-round Edmonton Spruce Grove-born player. What do you think about the retirement?
Well, it's again, we're talking about people retiring on their own terms.
Yeah.
It's good to see, and you know, going out on top.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tom Brady from the New England Patriots becomes the first player to ever have a unanimously be voted as the MVP for the season. What do you think of Tom Brady's season?
He had an unreal year.
Yeah.
Coach of the year as well, Bill Belichick. it's a shame the Pats couldn't pull it out in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Don't forget, Jim and I are hosting an event at the Beer Hunter Pub in the West End on April 2nd. Come on out, or we'll be streaming it live on anysportanytime.ca. That's our 15 minutes are up for this time. Join us next week when we get a whole new 15 minutes of fame. In the meantime, I'm Jeffrey Driscoll.
And I'm Jim Kerr.
Have a good day.